Hi guys, welcome to this channel. I'm Adrian. Today we're at Eltham Palace. Eltham Palace located in the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Now before you is the South Bridge, the moat and the gardens. Now this would not be enough if we don't introduce to you the Saxton products. So these are their anklets, their pouches, skins, and their cups and bracelets. So we'll be taking you further and we'll show you the rooms and the surrounding areas. So stay tuned, watch till the end. Like, subscribe, and drop your comments. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm wearing a 15th century, slightly Italian styled costume that would be worn by someone with a little bit of money, like the emerging middle class, upper middle class. So you might, if you know a little bit about art, you might recognise the hat. So this is a copy from a man from the Archibald Feeling, and he's Flemish merchant, and he's got a very similar hat. The brooch on the front of the hat is copied from one worn by Charles the Bold of Burgundy, so there's a very strong Flemish influence. The coat is slightly more Italian in style, so we've got influences from all over Europe. So normally we represent a 15th century mercenary company. Now we've got modern ideas of mercenaries and things like that, and they're quite a negative thing, but in the 15th century, mercenaries was the first real professional standing army.
I call upon Lancelot de Lac to continue with a course of 2 spears against the noble Knight of the Argo!
Let us have a cheer for your knights!
The Argo is armed, Lancelot is armed, spurs! And at the end of this course, we will know which 2 knights are going to be in our 2-spear final. So the Argo is armed, Lancelot is armed, they signal, they spur on, spur on!
Give them a cheer! Oh. Sound strike there indeed.
And therefore I have had to make a decision. Nonetheless, most knights are on. They strain up the list in your own time. Spur on!
Give them a cheer! He has a broken lance.
Never mind, there is but 1 point in it. And so, all to play for in this final spear.
Very good. Show them your cheers in preparation for the final course. wasn't attained.
No. The coronal remains in place, and so therefore, for the Wyvern, 3 points, and for the Argo, but 1.
And now the Knight Marshal is
So,
heralded.
Michon, gentlemen, Michon, and the reign of the people.
Good. The Knights and the Knight Marshals and their valets attend upon them. Give them a cheer as they present themselves to you.
And so, for this, the first of our 4 days this weekend at wonderful Eltham Palace, by 3 points to 2, I give you your winner, Lisa Dixon, the Wyvern!
Fantastic riding and courage to choose that helm strike. Beautifully done.
And your other champions and heroes, Lancelot of the Lake, Clive Hart, riding Charlemagne. Dominic Silon Esteban as the Argo. And Steve Lawson as the Wild Man of Apollo. We have Meet the Legends at 1:45. We have another joust later on this afternoon. We hope to see you there. But for now, we are Historic Equitation. This is English Heritage. To-ho!
So, as we said, this was former a royal residence, but at some point in time, say in 1933, a family took over it called Stephen Courtauld and his wife, and they got to transform this place to this much that we see. This is basically to my belief, because what I read about Steve Courtauld himself, they are art collectors. They are art collectors, industrialists that are specialized in giving a place a face look. So they obviously leased this place for about 99 years, and they got to transform it this much. But however, they didn't get to spend that much time here, due to the war, because at some point an incendiary bomb had to drop on this property, so they had to leave to a few places, and ended up sometime in Africa. Then this property was now had to be handed over to the military at some point, where we would highlight where they stayed, especially during the war, where they had to, stay in the basement itself, and they had everything going for them down there. And finally, in 1995, the property was now formally handed over to English Heritage. What you're seeing is the hall itself. This hall has the hall has an art, is decorated in an art deco style. What you're seeing, the wall is well decorated, in the entrance hall, and the top of it has a black beam veneer and a figurative marquetry, that brings light, into the hall. It lights up the hall. What you're seeing now is such a masterpiece. This is the reason we have obviously come to this place to show it out there to the whole world. So this is part of the beauty that lies in England. However, being one of the most beautiful cities itself in Europe. So stay with me and follow me as we check out the rooms in this building. The children's room, Virginia, Ginny's bedroom and bathroom, all inclusive, and the halls, then the beds and medieval phones that were used back in time. Just follow me as we walk along and see things for ourselves. In 1933, Stephen Courtauld and his wife Virginia, Ginny Courtauld, acquired a 99-year lease on the palace site and commissioned Seeley and Paget to restore the hall and create a modern home attached to it. Seeley and Paget added a minstrel gallery and a timber screen to the hall, while creating a design for the main house inspired by Christopher Wren's work at Hampton Court Palace and Trinity College. The home, as we said, it was decorated internally. But what still captures about this wonderful home is the glazed dome that highlights black beam veneer and figurative Mercury. Now, what I intend to talk about here are the places that were the rooms or other structures that were added to this wonderful structure. Now, the structures that are added to this structure are dining room, a big lush dining room, a drawing room, a circular bedroom and an adjoining bathroom, all of which was done by a very good, Then Seeley and Paget also designed many of the bedrooms. Now, King Gardeners and Courtauld also substantially modified and improved the grounds and the gardens. They made it to be such a beauty. If you are within the United Kingdom, I implore you that you can take time out and visit Eltham Palace. As I said, Eltham Palace is in the Royal Borough of Greenwich. So you can get to see how beautiful it is for yourself. Now, the moat that you see there is a compassive kind of, it is almost circular, it runs from a certain aspect almost all through the house or this main structure, except for the gardens where you have the garden and the south bridge, from the far north to almost roundabout to the north itself, running through northeast and the southern part of the house through to the southwest, almost to the north, is what the moat occupy, and it's quite deep and has variety of aquatic life inside of it. So I am so grateful having you out there, please drop your comments, like, share, and subscribe. I'll be going on to the dockyard itself, to bring you the royal dockyard in Chatham, and we will go next to the dockyard in Portsmouth and tell you why the dockyard had to be moved from Chatham to Portsmouth. Enjoy this view and drop your likes. In 1944, the Courtauld family moved to Scotland, then to southern Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe, giving the palace to the Royal Army Education Corps in March of 1945. The corps then moved all its administration to Eltham Palace in 1948, following the formation of Educational and Training Service branch of the new Adjunct General Corps. In 1995, English Heritage assumed management of the palace, and in 1999 completed major repairs and restoration of the interiors and garden. But the English Heritage obviously did very well as not to touch or tamper with some of the things they also met back there. One of them is another thing attractive about the Eltham Palace is that the basement served as a protectorate, or a place for protection for the military in the 1945 Second World War. While bombs, incendiary bombs were flying all around, they had the military in the basement, or a few persons in the basement, taking refuge, and it was quite comfortable. So this is one of the things English Heritage also kept for the future, when people are coming to view this palace, or the Eltham Palace itself. That serves as a good point of reminder too. So please like, share, and subscribe. Now, to me, the story or history about this wonderful palace would not be enough without talking about one person I presume is the mastermind behind the beauty of this palace, and he is Samuel Courtauld, the brother to Stephen Courtauld. Samuel Courtauld himself is an English industrialist who is best remembered as an art collector. He founded the Courtauld Institute of Art in London in 1932, and after a series of gifts during the 1930s, bequeathed his collection to the institute on his death. By the early 20th century, the Courtauld family business had become a major international business, having successfully developed and marketed rayon, an artificial fiber and inexpensive silk substitute. Samuel Courtauld took charge of the firm from 1908 as director and as chairman from 1921 to 1946. In his personal life, he was the son of Sidney Courtauld and Sarah Lucy Sharp, and a great-nephew of textile magnate Samuel Courtauld. He was educated at Rugby School. After he finished school, he visited Germany and France and studied textile technology to prepare to work in the family business. In 1901, he became director of one of the factories in Helsted in Essex. Then, in 1908, the CEO of all plants of the company. He became interested in art after seeing the huge lane collection and exhibition at the Tate Gallery in 1917. However, his career as a collector started in 1922 following an exhibition of French art at the Burlington Fine Arts Club. Coulthard was one of the first British collectors to display interest in French Impressionist and Post-Impressionist painting. During the 1920s, he assembled an expensive collection including masterpieces by Vincent. The core elements of his collection were acquired between 1926 and 1930. Though his passion dwindled somewhat following the death of his wife Elizabeth, Samuel founded the Coulthard Institute of Art with Viscount Lee and Sir Robert. Coulthard provided the bulk of the finances for the funding of the Coulthard Institute of Art. His wealth came from the textile business, but on both sides of his family there were connections with the arts and tradition of patronage going back several generations. Coulthard loved pictures and wrote poems about them. On the advice of Roger Frey and others, he bought French Impressionists and took out a lease on the best Robert Adams house in London. Home House, Portman Square, in which to display them, a novel and stunning combination. His example was emulated by his younger brother Stephen, who converted the medieval ruins of Eltham Palace into an Art Deco mansion. Samuel Coulthard was the real mecenas of the trio, and when his wife died in 1931, he made over the house in Portman Square together with the picture for the use of new institute until such time as permanent accommodation could be found for them. In the event, the Portman Square house was to be institute home for almost 60 years. Coulthard also created a £50,000 acquisition fund for the Tate and National Gallery in London, helping lay foundation of national collection of Impressionist and Post-Impressionist art. Stephen himself, the Coulthard family were wonderful. This is one of the reasons I chose to visit this property. Every single thing they did here was wonderful. So I implore as many of you as possible to come visit this place and see beauty at its peak in Eltham Palace. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.
But the people that lived here were Stephen and Julie Coulthard.
So do you want to run down a brief history of this beautiful edifice? Just a brief
It takes quite a long time.
There you go.